Hey guys, Desert Fox 46 here, bringing some more motherfucking Modern Warfare content. If you can notice, I entered late into this lobby. The team was losing fucking terribly. I ended up making a difference, so stay tuned and watch the whole video, and you'll see that all they needed was a motherfucking Desert Fox to make the goddamn pushes. But anyways, also, at the end, I posted the new Cold War trailer, just in case for those of you that haven't seen it, you know, enjoy that. So, as I stated in my previous video, I'm going to be testing out the AN-94. It's going to be similar to my ISO video. I'm going to be giving a quick breakdown of the weapon, its pros and cons when I first unlocked it, and also its pros and cons when I added all the attachments. Also, I'm going to be giving advice of what attachments you should be using on multiplayer. Also, some advice on Warzone, although I haven't really tested it out on Warzone. More or less, you know, you add the same attachments more or less to the weapons, every weapon when you play Warzone. And I'll explain that in a bit. So to start off the video, all I want to say is the weapon was amazing when you first unlocked it, unlike the fucking ISO, which was a piece of shit when you first unlocked it. Like I stated in my previous video, 20-round clip on the ISO was the most problematic thing in my opinion. But with the AN-94, it does come in a standard 30-round assault rifle clip, which, you know, isn't the best, but it does just get the job done. The TTK on the weapon is alright, 8AS speed is alright, fire rate, alright. You know, it's an alright weapon when you first start off. When I first started using it, I was getting like a bunch of fucking kills. Then I started adding like random attachments, and it kind of lowered the performance for some weird reason. But afterwards, you know, as I tested out the attachments for a couple days, it did get better, and then I finally thought, oh hey, I think these are the attachments you should be using if you're gonna be playing fucking multiplayer. But yeah, if you're gonna be playing multiplayer, I'd recommend using the monolithic suppressor, just because it does give you that suppression and that added range, which in my opinion, I love suppression. I love like being, you know, as quiet as possible. I like rushing, being quiet, and catching the opponents off guard and not appearing on the radar. You know, I've been using suppressors ever since Modern Warfare 2, and I've just grown attached. I never use a weapon without a suppressor. Even if it's on shipment, I always have a suppressor. And given that the monolithic suppressor gives you that added range, I'd say that's the best option if you want to be as quiet as possible. Also, commando grip or a merc grip, either one is good for the weapon. Although, in my opinion, you don't really need to use a grip, just because this gun's recoil is very minimal. Surprisingly, I thought it was going to be like the AK-47, where, you know, the recoil's fucking making the gun bounce up and down the screen. But with the AN-94, it's very minimal, easy to control. So I mean, it's optional. If you want to use a merc grip or a commando grip, it's fine. I was playing multiple games where I was like using commando, then not using a commando, and it did fine. It was like not much of a difference when you don't use a grip. The clip size, I'd recommend the 45, but that depends on your playstyle. I focus more on ADS. So when I did the 60-round magazine, it lowered it, and I noticed it. Although, you know, I love having higher capacity magazines, it did lower my ADS speed, so I wasn't happy about that. So I ended up going back to the 30. The 30 was like faster than the 60, of course, because it's a lighter, you know, magazine. But I hated only having 30 rounds, so I ended up just going with the 45. And the 45, in my opinion, if you're focused, if you're oriented on just ADS speed like I am, I think the 45 is the best option. It gives you a higher capacity, you know, 15 more than the 30, of course, but a higher ADS speed than the 60. So I think it's like the best of both worlds, and I would recommend that one. Also, on this weapon, I have the grip. I think it's a stipple tape grip. Not too sure, because I noticed that it has different names for different weapons, but I have the one basically that has the sprint to fire increase and whatnot, just because, like I said, in my opinion, ADS speed is crucial when you're playing multiplayer, so I added that. Also the Peril stock, I think it's called VLK Peril stock. I'm not too sure. I might be mixing it up with another weapon, but it's the last stock, and it's I believe it adds sprint to fire as well. Like I said, sprint to fire is important for me, and I just ended up using that. Although I don't really use stocks on most of my weapons, I did it on this weapon. barrels, I don't have a barrel on this weapon. I have the standard barrel just because I was using the longest barrel, but like I said, it did decrease my ADS speed. And the standard barrel is fine. The range on it, it's fine. I was able to get like mid-range, even long shots without too much, you know, like bullets missed. So it was fine. I think the standard is just fine. Also, iron sights, it took me a while to get used to them. So I was using the reflex sight for most of the time I was testing out the weapon. I did end up getting used to it. As you can tell in this video, I don't have the reflex sight. But yeah, it does take a while depending. But if you're not comfortable with the the iron sight, just use like an optic if, you know, you're used to using optics. Of course, if you're going to be playing Warzone, optics would be advised because, you know, longer ranges, it might be a little bit harder to see your enemies. So I'd say use an optic in Warzone, but multiplayer, it's optional, I guess. The iron sights are fine after you get used to them. They get the job done. So yeah, it's optional. Going back to barrels, I'd say the long barrel would be good for Warzone if you're going to be playing Warzone with this weapon. Also, a grip is a must in Warzone just because accuracy and stabilization is crucial in Warzone, especially, you know, when hitting targets from a further distance. You need that recoil control. Although it does have a minimal recoil, you know, it still helps to get those longer shots in. But yeah, the weapon performed amazingly after I added all the attachments. I don't really use assault rifles, especially on multiplayer. I usually tend to use like SMGs just because it does give you an added, or a longer sprint time. You know, and like I said, I use the stim and I like to rush people. So I don't really tend to use assault rifles. Especially assault rifles also have like a lower rate of fire as opposed to SMGs. But to be honest, the AN-94 is really good. I think I'm going to be using it more in the future, especially multiplayer. I'm going to be testing on a Warzone pretty soon, so I'm going to try to get some content for you guys and post up some Warzone. Testing out the AN-94, maybe the ISO. I'll maybe do a combo of like the AN-94 and the ISO as a secondary just to see how they both perform. But to be completely honest, between the two weapons, the ISO and the AN-94, I think I would have to go with the AN-94 as the best one added to Season 5 so far. Like I said, it performed well. Really, really good. Really enjoyed using it. It was fun. I remember using the AN-94 on Black Ops 2, I believe. Yeah, I don't really, I remember using it, but I don't remember how it was, recoil-wise. But yeah, this one's really good. I'd recommend using it if you're going to be, testing out. If you have unlocked it or if you haven't, the AN-94 is a weapon that you must. It's a must to test it out. It's really good. As you can tell in this video, my shots were on point for the most part. Recoil was fine. ADS speed was perfect in my opinion. So, like I said, if you're going to be oriented more on ADS, follow the attachments that I recommended. Tac laser or the 5W, I always forget the fucking laser name, but that green 5W one that adds sprint fire, that one's not really a must, I'd say. The ADS, when I had it on, it didn't really improve my ADS as much, as opposed to having that stock, the Peril stock or whatever. I think it's the last stock, but that one added a significant amount of ADS speed. It was much quicker with the stock. So, like I said, if you're gonna be focused on ADS, do use the stock, the grip tape, and if you want 45 round clip, also a monolithic suppressor, and that'll get the job done. But if you're more focused on range, maybe get a reflex sight or some type of sight. Commando grip just for stabilization, longer barrel, monolithic for that added range and suppression, which that's important for Warzone just because you need to be as stealthy and quiet when you're sending out those bullets, just so it'll be harder for the enemy to spot you. And the 60 round clip. The 60 round clip, I feel like that'll be crucial for Warzone just because multiple squads, say a whole squad of 4 is coming at you, you have to have those 60 rounds just to be as precise as possible and take down as many as you can, you know, as a team player. But yeah, so like I stated, the Cold War trailer is at the end of this video, so stay tuned for that. Watch it. It's a badass. I'm super hyped for the game. Vietnam is another, you know, part of history that I like to experience in video games. So yeah, I'm super excited. I'm probably gonna pre-order. Try to get it as soon as possible. Try to get the content out to you guys as soon as possible. Other than that, I'm gonna be signing off. If you like the video, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I'm gonna be bringing more content Friday, either Battlefield or another Call of Duty video. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, see you later.
This war was a lie. Years of blood. Just to light the fuse of a secret war. Decades in the making.
My fellow Americans, a nuclear conflict could well be mankind's last. We want to make this a more peaceful world.
5 days ago, we acquired intel. Soviet agent Perseus is in play. If he's active, something big is gonna happen. Something that could shift the balance of the Cold War.
Let's go find this shithead!
Mr. President.
Is the threat real?
Yes, sir, we believe it is.
Give Mr. Adler whatever he wants.
This wasn't part of the plan!
I know you won't fail us.
Pre-order a digital copy and get early access to the open beta and instant access to the Woods Operator Pack in Modern Warfare, including Warzone.